Wales, golf, Madrid. In that order, that is Gareth Bale's motto, and it will be his motto for the rest of his life, as he is now retired from not only international football, but from club football as well. My name is Don Croft, and I hope you're having a good day. A better day than maybe Gareth Bale's feeling today, because he might be feeling a bit somber as he has just retired, as I have just said. If you haven't already, please can you go subscribe to the channel. Do appreciate all the subscriptions that I have been getting recently. Comment below. This is a question on the top of the little video that I've got here for you. Is Gareth Bale the greatest British player of all time? And I'll be speaking about his honours, his titles and achievements in this video, as well as discussing memorable points about Gareth Bale's life, his story as a footballer, and his campaign as a international and club footballer. But obviously, Gareth Bale is at the tender age of 33. God, I'm getting to the age where I'm becoming the similar sort of age bracket as players that are retiring, and it's getting quite depressing from my own thoughts and my own mindset. He played 111 games for Wales, most capped, as well as 41 goals, being the most scored individual as a Welsh player, bringing him to a Euro semi-final and the World Cup for the first time in 50 or 60 years. I can't quite remember that off the top of my head. I probably should have had it written down. I do apologise. 553 games, 185 goals. The most memorable season probably of his career being the 12-13 season, when he basically became from a boy to a man, essentially, in those couple of seasons, wasn't it? That game against Italy, burning past Maicon, scoring the hat-trick at the San Siro, as well as the season where he scored 26 for Tottenham in all competitions. What a campaign that was. Getting that deal to Real Madrid, where, personally, probably weren't the greatest in terms of his numbers, but in terms of overall achievements, he got 5 Champions Leagues. I've got it written down here. 4 Club World Cups, 3 Super Leagues, 3 3 La Ligas, 1 Copa del Rey, which is quite surprising, actually, quite low for Real Madrid at the time, and 3 Spanish Super Cups. This Real Madrid team was the Galacticos that they really wanted in the early 2000s, wasn't it? Gareth Bale obviously becoming the first person to score 2 match-winning goals in Champions League finals, being in 12-13 and 17-18 against Liverpool and Atletico Madrid, respectively. These stats alone should make him at least in the conversation for the greatest British player of all time. If you think of modern times, there's only maybe Rooney, Owen, but even those didn't get the numbers that Gareth Bale did on a club standpoint. And of course, making Wales, relevant again, essentially. Him and Aaron Ramsey and a few others, of course, but he was the talisman for so many years. I know it probably was a bit too late for him for this World Cup alone, but obviously he deserves his own spot in this World Cup team, even if he was out for a couple of years, wasn't it? Obviously, his time at Los Angeles didn't really work out for him. His time at Tottenham as well, when he came back, his numbers were okay, but it didn't really fit the right system, the right way that maybe Conte wanted him to play, or, at the time, sorry, it was Mourinho, wasn't it? But yeah, the couple of honourable mentions: the goal in the Copa del Rey against Barcelona, where he went off the football pitch. I think that's a classic moment, as well as scoring a lot of goals in that 12-13 season, like I said. And I think him coming from Southampton as a kid to Tottenham, where he did lose the first 25 games, wasn't it, at left back, and then producing the role that he had, which is essentially a very, very modern role, wasn't it? It was a very forward-thinking role from Tottenham at the time. Basically go out and free roam, essentially. I think that we're unlikely to see anybody like Gareth Bale, certainly for Wales, but in a British capacity as well. I don't think we will find anyone as silky, as powerful, as crucial, as clinical as Gareth Bale has been. And one player that I really looked up to as maybe not a kid, because I was 13 or 14 at the time when he was firing it in for Tottenham, but one player that you always wanted to be maybe on the pitch or off, like in the park or something like that. You always want to be the Bale, didn't you? And he made that left foot very attractive, didn't he? And credit to him, only 33, but I think it probably was the right time. He wasn't performing well at the World Cup, and you could see maybe his legs weren't, holding up his body at the time. I'm not too sure because he didn't look right, didn't it? And I think when he came off for Wales in the World Cup, it wasn't really. That is when Wales performed the best, essentially. Yeah, so I want to know in the comments below if you have any thoughts on who is the actual greatest British player of all time. I've got George Best written down here, Paul Gascoigne, Bobby Moore, Bobby Charlton, Gordon Banks, maybe a lot of that England team that won in 1966, as well as Gaza and a couple others, maybe Dalglish. Let me know in the comments below if Gareth Bale is the greatest, or if not, who is, essentially, because in terms of numbers, like I said, 5 Champions Leagues, nobody can beat that in a British capacity. I don't think they can, unless Jude Bellingham goes to Real Madrid and spends his whole entire career there. That's the only way I could think someone could beat that record. But if you haven't already, please can you go and subscribe. This one's been a bit more of an impromptu video because it's just happened now. I was meant to do another video on another channel right now, but I thought I'd just come on here, talk about it, and get this video up because he's a player that I hold to my heart. He's a player that I, loved watching play, watching on the field, which is a sign of a world-class player. And enjoy your retirement, enjoy your golf, Gareth. I'm sure that you will in your back garden with the 3-hole horse. And yeah, also, look, side note, I love the shithousery that he did for Real Madrid at the time, learning Spanish for Los Angeles and not Real Madrid. That's, beautiful. But if you haven't already, please can you go subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate, like I said before, comment below the question I just said as well, and can you go and like the video as well. So I will see you all very soon, and peace. Cheers, guys.